Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast, a Colts podcast with real takes and no clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, run by Dan Hertzler. Dan, what's up?
Hey, NFL got us again, man. These guys, they know what they're doing with it when they put out all these different major events. And you got free agency, you got the combine, you got the draft, and now here we are talking about the schedule. But it's a brand new season, and there's some excitement in the air, man. I think this schedule, there's some things about it. We'll talk here in a second that are a little quirky about it, but there's some really good things when you look at this schedule for the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm really excited for it. Josh, just looking at it, first thoughts, first reactions, what are you thinking?
Yeah, for me, I'm liking that 9 home games, 7 true away games. Obviously, you have 1 away game, which is at New England, which is actually in Germany, so no real home and field advantage there for the Patriots, which if you're starting Anthony Richardson, you like that. Now, and then you look at the schedule, and you don't see a long away stretch. I think the longest away game stretch they had is like 2 weeks in a row. Again, favorable for a young offense. I like that. The schedule is like the 4th lightest schedule in the NFL. And I know teams change a lot, so you can't put too much weight into records from last year. But at the same time, it means we're not playing super stiff competition, which could help potentially a young quarterback's confidence if he plays. Yeah. What about you?
Well, there's a few things that are really good, and you mentioned them too. I mean, we're not playing a super team right off the bat on the road, which again we'll talk in a second. But that would be really tough for Anthony Richardson if he was going to start Week 1. But there are some interesting things. There's 4 divisional games within the first 6, which I mean, that's not the most ideal for a young team, and that really could put us behind or give us a head start. So that's kind of a mixed bag. There's also no primetime games. Now, I know that there's these new to-be-determined games later on in the season. I guess they're saying now that games aren't owned by networks, and there could be a lot more flexing going on. So I get that. But you know what? I mean, I get it. We're a small market team. We didn't have a good season last year, so it makes sense. But and disappointing. I love the Monday night games, the Sunday night games. I wish we would have had one of those. But overall, this is something to be positive for Colts fans. We got the division that's not super hard. We've got the NFC South, which I believe are starting all 4 new quarterbacks this season. This is a very, very winnable schedule. This is not something that, I don't know if you saw the Giants. I think they had like 7 out of 10 away games. I mean, some crazy stuff. Yeah. That's not the schedule. So I know there's some downers in it, but overall, this is a good schedule for the Colts.
Yeah. When you think of these 4 away game or 4 division opponents out of the first 6 games, do you think that kind of falls in the Colts' favor? Obviously, Houston, kind of a new regime as well. But I mean, Jacksonville, you play Tennessee, you play Jacksonville again pretty quick. I mean, this is new look Colts in a way. I mean, new head coach, new quarterback. Do you think that kind of falls in our favor because they don't know who we are, but we kind of know who they are based on what their schemes are?
Well, it's kind of good news, bad news. Good news is it's not a tough division. Let's just be honest. It's not one of the more stronger divisions around the NFL, so they aren't going to be as tough as games. The bad news is, as a young team, not only do they not know us, but we don't know us. and they've got to learn the new system. They got to learn the new players. They got to learn the new coach. Yeah. So that might take them a little bit longer to get going, and losing some of these divisional rounds right off the bat could be disheartening for the rest of the season. But I'm not too upset by it, but it is something that was pretty interesting when I saw the schedule.
Bye week 11, I'm liking that as well. Yeah, I love those kind of middle of the season bye weeks, especially after you go to Germany. I think that's a good time for the team to reset. But to me, I think the biggest thing that stood out is this is favorable for a young quarterback to start early. Yep. It's not like we play New England Week 1 and Foxborough. Even that Baltimore game in Week 3 in Baltimore, that's a little dicey. I get that, but I think I'm not saying Richardson's going to start Week 1, but if he was going to, with this schedule, how it's kind of laid out, I kind of like it. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great point you brought up, because that's one of the big questions we talked about is not only does Anthony Richardson have the talent, can he work the huddle? Can he get the cadence? Can he understand the playbook? Do the other 10 guys trust him? We won't know that really till preseason. But the other part of it was, what does the schedule look like? We mentioned going to Arrowhead. You wouldn't want that. Yeah. You wouldn't want to go to Baltimore Week 1. And none of these early games, Jacksonville and Houston, 2 teams that don't really scare you in their defense as much. They don't, Jacksonville's at home, so we'll have the favorable crowd. These are two games that you look at and say, hey, there's no reason why we wouldn't start our rookie quarterback. So this is, again, good news for Anthony Richardson. Those that want to see him start week one, this was the schedule that they wanted to see.
Yeah. No, obviously, everyone wants to know what's our expectations on the record. Now, we're not going to go game by game. There's a lot to unpack as these rosters change and trades, and we don't even know who some of these quarterbacks are going to be when they start. But 30,000-foot eagle view, what do you think the Colts record is going to be?
I'm looking right at the 7-10, maybe 8-9 range. I think this is really good news, and this is going to set up the Colts. I think there's potential for Shane Steichen to get some Coach of the Year awards, a chance for Anthony Richardson to get Rookie of the Year. There's nothing on this. We're not going into a juggernaut division and going on the road in crazy hostile situations. This is going to be favorable. So everything is lined up for the Colts to have a nice bounce back season.
Yeah, I'm on board 100%. I think 8 wins. 9 if the ball bounces the right way. I mean, look, last year we were in a lot of games, close ones. Obviously, we blew the 30-point lead against the Vikings, but the Eagles game, I mean, you can go down the list. The Houston game that we lost.
Steeler game was close, game.
There's so many games where, even that Cowboys game, like halfway through the second, into the third quarter, until we had an awful fourth quarter with a little bit of offense. Who knows how that game goes? So I'm optimistic, and I think fans should be optimistic. We got a quarterback, we got a coach, we got a favorable schedule. I know there's some quirks on it, but all schedules are a little weird. So, hey, man, I'm going to take it on the run, and I'm just jazzed. I'm ready for September. I'm ready for at least preseason. I'm ready for August. So
yeah, we'll break this down a little bit more. But like you said too, I mean, there's so many injuries and things that happen. It's kind of silly to look at it. It's just really a big kind of broad shot. And this is, again, I keep saying the same good news. It is just good news. Colts fans, I know we can get pessimistic, we can get down and nitpicky and complain about certain things. Overall, this is good news, and just take it as it is and be excited that, hey, Colts didn't get screwed. Colts don't have any difficulties for a rookie to start. This is setting up us for a nice season ahead.
Yeah, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know maybe what your record's going to be. Do you miss the primetime games as well? Part of me, I love-hate relationship. Got to get up for work in the morning. Sometimes that's a little tough, but other than that, I do enjoy the lights at Lucas Oil Stadium being on. So let us know in the comments below. We appreciate you watching our show. So if you could subscribe and just stay tuned for more Colts content, it'd mean the world to us. Again, guys, thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.